Chance of a Lifetime is a really interesting film. This was released in 1991. It's directed by Jonathan Sanger. It's written by Lynn Roth, with a cast including Betty White, Leslie Nielsen, Ed Begley Jr., and various others. And Betty White plays a character called Evelyn, and she finds out that she only has months to live. So she decides to do something that's very uncharacteristic, and that's kind of a lot of the theme here. She decides to book a trip to Mexico, which is kind of out of her character to just do this spontaneous vacation. And then when she's there, she starts to say yes to things that might be out of her character. And she also meets a character called Lloyd, and she has this adventure on vacation, spends time with Lloyd. They grow closer, of course, which is beautiful, but obviously we know that she doesn't have that much longer to live. And when you're dying imminently, it's maybe not the best time to start developing relationships with people. So it's beautiful to watch, but whenever I'm reminded of the reality of the situation, it's quite hard-hitting and very effective. It is, for the most part, quite a light-hearted film. Wikipedia describes it as a romantic comedy. I mean, I guess I'm not against that as a genre, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a funny film. I think the characters have some quite funny, witty, charming dialogue, but I wouldn't say if you're looking for a comedy, this is the best one to go with. But it's not a dry film either. It's kind of somewhere between romance, drama, and comedy. I feel like it kind of fits a little bit into all of those. So it is quite a light film, but there are moments that kind of pull us back to the reality of the situation. I think they did a really good job of being able to balance that and presenting the narrative in a way that is moving and thought-provoking, but still fun and engaging in its own way. And I do think it's very thought-provoking, and I feel like it's very believable as well. In fact, I've had this conversation with myself many times. If I found out I had months to live, I would take my money and I would travel if I didn't have my cat. If I still have my cat at this point in my life, I don't really know what I'd do. But certainly if I had nothing to keep me in one place, I would do this as well. So I think it is very relatable in that regard. I think it's a scenario in which people don't necessarily want to find themselves, but if they do, I think it would be very relatable and very believable. And obviously this attitude, not just with the whole dying aspect, but this attitude of just deciding to do things that are out of character and, well, to have a chance of a lifetime, as the title suggests, and to live life while there's still time, is just so motivational, regardless of how much time we may or may not have left. So I think there are so many strong takeaways from this. Very thought-provoking, motivational. As I said, it's not too heavy, but there are obviously moments that are a little bit heavier, and the characters are brilliant, the performances are great. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not the kind of film I could watch again and again, just because I don't really want to think about... I don't want to think about mortality, but I do watch a lot of dark horrors and thrillers where a lot of people die. But when it's kind of a pleasant character in this situation, it's obviously a little bit harder to watch and to think about. So I couldn't watch this over and over again. But that being said, if I ever have a reason to watch it again, I wouldn't be against that. Chance of a Lifetime is a beautiful film with a lot of strong takeaways, great performances, very well written characters, great chemistry between Betty White and Leslie Nielsen, and if it sounds like a film for you, then I'd say it's one that's definitely worth watching.